Most of the time, your architectural visualization materials are going to be quite simple, like the one we've already built. However, there may be times when you want to add effects to your material or create more complex materials for specific surfaces. The material expressions available to us in Unreal are going to help us to be able to create these types of materials. Here's what we're going to do to make our simple material a little more complex. First of all, we're going to use an alpha channel texture to create kind of a stamped logo effect on the material. We'll also be setting it up so that we can increase or decrease the tiling of our material. We'll set it up so that the stamped logo will be metallic. We'll also be tweaking the roughness value to give our metallic logo kind of a nice Perlin marble noise effect. And then so that our metallic logo is a nice smooth surface compared to the parquet flooring, we'll use two normal maps and blend them together. Let's get started. Step 1, we'll work on the base color. So for this, we're going to need our alpha logo that we can blend with the parquet texture. So we'll hold down T on the keyboard and left click to create a texture sample. In the texture sample drop down here, we're going to type the word logo. This will give us the UE4 logo. In order for this to show up, however, you need to go down to the view options here and then make sure that show engine content is checked. All right, and we'll select the UE4 logo. Now, right now, the UE4 logo is in white with the background in black. What we want to do is reverse that. In order to reverse that so that the logo itself is black, we're going to use what's called the 1- node. So we'll pull off of the red channel here and do a search for 1-. And here I just used the number 1, which works, but you can also type it out as 1-. Now I'm going to show the effect by clicking this drop-down arrow here. Now we can see that it's been inverted. Now I want to multiply this alpha by the parquet texture. So we'll go ahead and pull the parquet texture out of the way over here. We're going to hold down the M key on the keyboard and left click to create a multiply. We're going to pipe in our parquet texture into the B, and it will pipe the 1- output into the A. Once again, we'll use the little drop down arrow here to see the effect. Now we're almost done here. What I want is for this logo to be white and not black. So for that, we're going to need an add node. So holding down A on the keyboard and left clicking will give us the add node. And I'm going to drag the output of my multiply into the A input of the add node. And then I'm going to take the red output of my Unreal logo texture sample, and I'm going to put that into the B input of the add node. So now when we use the drop down arrow to see the result, you can see clearly that we have the white colored Unreal logo on the background here of our parquet texture. Now we can go ahead and input this, or rather take the output of our add node and put that into our base color. And there we have it. Our Unreal logo is stamped onto the material of the parquet floor. To make this logo metallic would be pretty easy. Let's first of all change this to a cube preview. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use this same texture sample to drive the metallic value. But rather than just piping this red channel straight into metallic, we're first going to add a multiply node in between. So we're going to do a search here for multiply. All right, and then we're going to create a constant by holding down the 1 key and left clicking. And we're going to use that constant to drive the B part of our multiply. Now we can go ahead and stick the multiply into the metallic input. Now right now we're not seeing anything, so let's go ahead and change our constant here from 0 to 1. Now we can clearly see that the Unreal logo has a metallic sheen to it, while the parquet floor does not. For this next part, we're going to use some Perlin Noise to create kind of a nice weathering effect to the metallic part of our material, but we don't want it to affect the parquet flooring. So first of all, let's kind of move some of this stuff out of the way so we have a nice clear spot. Now to get our noise, we're going to have to right click and we'll do a search for noise. Let's go ahead and use the drop down arrow to open that noise up. Now, these are the settings that I'm going to use. For scale, I'm going to set it to 0.01. For output minimum, we're going to set that to 0. And then we're going to set maximum to 0.25. And there we go. We have kind of a nice Perlin effect there. Move it around, we can see it. Now, in order for this Perlin noise effect to only affect the metallic part, we're going to need to make use of our alpha logo again. And for this, we're going to drag off of the red channel, and we're going to do a search for multiply. And we're going to multiply that by our Perlin noise. And then we can see the result. So we can see now that just the Unreal logo here, The white part of the logo is getting the noise applied to it. Now I want to be able to control the strength of this noise or how rough it is. So I'm going to go ahead and do another multiply off of this. And then we'll use another constant holding 1 and left clicking and pipe that into the B input of my multiply. Let's go ahead and set the roughness value to 1. Now, in order to make use of the roughness texture here for the parquet floor, we're going to need to combine that with this roughness texture. So let's go ahead and break the link here for this texture. We're going to do the same thing here with the multiply node. So we're going to pull off of the red output channel here and do a search for multiply. We'll use another constant. Let's go ahead and set the value to 1. And we'll put that into the B input of our multiply. In order to blend these two roughness values together, the roughness of the parquet floor and the roughness of the Unreal material, we're going to need to use what's called a linear interpolation node, or LIRP. So we'll hold down L on the keyboard and left click to create the LIRP. The LIRP will combine these two roughnesses together using a third channel, the alpha channel here, to specify which roughness goes where. That'll become a little more self-evident once I put this together. So first of all, we're going to put this Unreal logo roughness into the A input of our LIRP, and then we'll put the parquet floor roughness into the B input of the LIRP. Now, in order for the Unreal logo's roughness to only be applied on the Unreal logo itself and not the parquet floor, and vice versa for the parquet floor's roughness not to be applied to the Unreal logo, we're going to use the Unreal logo inverted channel to drive the alpha. So we'll drag off of the inverted channel here and pipe that into the alpha. Okay, and now that we've done that, we can pipe this LIRP into the roughness input of our material. And now we can see over here the roughness of our metallic surface, the Unreal logo, but it's not affecting the parquet floor. However, we still have a problem here where the normal map of the parquet floor is showing through the Unreal logo. Now that might be fine, that might be the look you're going for, but in this case, I want a nice, smooth, mirrored surface here. For that, we're going to use another linear interpolation node for the normal maps. We're going to use a flat normal map that we combine with this parquet floor normal map, and again, we're going to use the Unreal logo to combine them, the alpha channel. So we'll hold down L again to create another LIRP, and we're going to pipe this parquet floor normal map into the B input of our LIRP. And then we need to create another texture sample. And this time we'll do a search for flat normal. Now this flat normal texture will not be here unless you've got your view options set to show engine content. Now we're going to drive this flat normal into the A input of our LIRP. And then we need our Unreal logo, again, the inverted one. We're going to drive the inverted logo into the alpha input of our LIRP. And we'll go ahead and use the drop-down arrow to see the result. We can zoom in really close by holding Control and then mouse wheeling in, so you can see the result there. All right, so let's go ahead and pipe this into the normal map input. Great, so there we go. We've got our nice, smooth Unreal logo that has some Perlin Noise on it, as well as our parquet floor, which still has its own roughness and normal mapping. There's one more thing we're going to do to our material, and that is apply tiling so that we can control how much tiling the surface has on it. But before we do that, let's go ahead and save our material and then apply it to the floor. So we'll grab our material and then just drag it onto the floor. All right, so there's our Unreal logo on our parquet floor. Let's go ahead and alter the tiling now. In the material editor, we're going to use what's called a texture coordinate node. So we'll right click and do a search for text coord, C-O-O-R-D, and that gives us our texture coordinate node. Using the texture coordinate node, we'll be able to control the U and V tiling. Now, we're only going to use it to control the Unreal logo and not the parquet floor itself. So the easiest way to do that is to drive this texture coordinate into the UV input of our texture sample here of the Unreal logo. Now, with it connected, you're not going to see a difference yet, but once you select the text coordinate node and then change the U tiling or V tiling values, we'll see a difference. Let's go ahead and set this to a value of 4. Now we can see the Unreal logo has been tiled 4 times in both the U and V. Let's go ahead and save it, and we'll see the result in the editor. This is just a taste of some of the power and flexibility that the Unreal PBR material system and the material editor window provides you. As this is just a basic course, be sure to check out my course on advanced PBR materials, where I go into details on creating some more advanced shaders. Up next, we'll look at the material import process for bringing in materials you've already built in an application like 3ds Max into Unreal.